Okay, let's just say it out loud. Paramount said no. Yep, even they don't want Harry and Meghan anymore. And can you honestly blame them? I mean, come on. Remember when Meghan and Harry walked away from the royal family and the whole world collectively gasped? Oh wow, they're doing it. They're really doing it. Everyone was watching. There was sympathy, curiosity, drama. They had the world in the palm of their hands and a once-in-a-lifetime shot at rewriting their story. Fast forward to now, total silence. Total mess. The media dream? It's falling apart quicker than anyone expected. Let's talk Netflix. Oh, that glorious $100 million deal. The moment it was announced, everyone thought, okay, here we go. Sussex media empire incoming. That kind of money isn't given out lightly. It's not a, let's see what you've got investment. That's you better deliver kind of money, but they didn't. The content? Meh. The buzz? Short-lived. Their docuseries didn't even leave a dent. The Invictus Games content? Quiet. Barely a ripple. Behind the scenes? Netflix was watching the numbers like a hawk. And it wasn't just about one or two projects underperforming. Word got out, Archewell Productions was a total mess. Staff turnover, creative confusion, ideas that didn't line up with their carefully curated image. Internally, it was chaos. And Netflix? They don't do chaos. They do consistency, and the Sussex brand just didn't have it. So guess what Netflix did? Nothing. Not a word. They ghosted them. No statement, no thank you for your work. Just pure, brutal silence. In Hollywood, silence is everything. Silence means you're done. And if you think that was bad, remember Spotify? Oh yes, archetypes. That was Meghan's big moment, her fresh start, her meaningful comeback. But one season in and boom, it was done. Spotify execs weren't subtle about it either. They flat out said it didn't meet expectations. One failed project? Okay, that's Hollywood. Two massive flops in a row? Now that's a red flag. And when both those failures are tied to the same couple, people stop blaming the platforms and start blaming them. And just when you thought they couldn't sink lower, guess what surfaced next? Paramount Plus. Word on the street was Meghan and Harry were trying to pitch something, anything to them. Maybe a new show, maybe a rebrand. But Paramount? Yeah, they're not exactly desperate. They've seen the headlines. They know what they'd be getting into. Two high-profile figures with a string of failures, a fan base that's not so loyal anymore, and media expectations so inflated they're basically floating in the stratosphere. Let's be real, it's not about being famous anymore. It's about trust. And here's the real kicker. Meghan and Harry actually had it all. They had the upper hand when they left Buckingham Palace. They had control over their story, a rare gift in showbiz, but somehow they lost it. The message got muddled. Their projects started to feel empty, like PR wrapped in a bow. The audience felt it, Hollywood saw it, and suddenly their media empire didn't feel so mighty anymore. You can't keep living off buzz. Eventually, the content has to hit, and theirs, it just didn't. So now, Meghan's out there again, pitching, hustling, trying to get something off the ground. Word is she's shopping around ideas. Maybe another lifestyle show, maybe a new podcast, something unscripted, something personal. But let's not pretend Hollywood execs are falling over themselves here. They know what happened. They saw Netflix shut the door, not softly, but with a thud. And here's the most chilling part. They didn't even bother to say it out loud. No press release, no kind words, nothing. Just erased. That docuseries? Gone. Canceled. Not postponed. Not paused. Just gone. And do you know how Meghan and Harry found out? Privately. Behind closed doors. Told quietly. With zero fanfare. There will be no season 2. Ouch. That's not rejection. That's annihilation. And for a couple who built everything on image, silence like that, it's poison. Meghan especially. This is a woman who's made a career out of curating her image to perfection. Every appearance choreographed. Every interview designed for maximum impact. But you can't spin this. You can't clean it up with PR. The silence has become the headline, and it screams louder than anything else they've done. Want to know what's worse? That silence? It's contagious. Other studios are noticing. Other investors, producers, everyone in the industry. Because here's the deal. When two of the biggest platforms in the world, Netflix and Spotify, quietly back away from you, people don't call that bad luck. They call it a pattern. And Paramount? They're not blind. They've been watching, they've been reading, they're not rushing to answer Meghan's calls. Because let's face it, what do Meghan and Harry really bring to the table anymore? Buzz. Maybe. But buzz without substance is toxic. Now Meghan's circling back to her old playbook. Wellness, lifestyle, maybe some curated content that feels safe. But this isn't 2015. The media landscape is different now. The influencer space is packed. And viewers? They're sharper. They're skeptical. They've been burned by overpromises and glossy facades one too many times. They want authenticity. And that's where the Sussexes keep missing the mark. Everything they produce feels like it's passed through 10 layers of branding polish. It's too clean, too rehearsed. There's no edge, no depth. No realness. And that whole no comment strategy, that thing where they vanish every time a project flops, that used to give them mystery. Now, it just screams desperation. People don't think they're recharging, they think they're hiding. Every time they go silent, the rumors get louder. Every old partner who distances themselves, Netflix, Spotify, even former staff, that's taken as a red flag. Every time someone stops defending them publicly, it's read as betrayal. Hollywood doesn't like unpredictability. They don't like drama they can't control. And Meghan and Harry, they're starting to look like a risky bet no one wants to take. Behind the scenes, it's panic time. The pressure is real. Meghan and Harry know what's at stake. They're not naive. They know if they don't land a solid, credible project soon, they're not just losing out on opportunities. They're losing relevance. Fast. And right now, that's exactly what's happening. No major deals, a trail of underwhelming releases, and a Hollywood that's growing colder by the day. The big question, is it already too late? So here's where it gets even messier. Meghan and Harry are now dangerously close to becoming exactly what no one in Hollywood ever wants to be. A cautionary tale. You know the kind. The ones execs whisper about in boardrooms. Remember when we gave them the big deal and it blew up? That's the lane Meghan and Harry are sliding into, and it's not just embarrassing, it's brand killing. And let's talk about this rebrand rumor going around. Apparently, Meghan's thinking about going solo, ditch the Sussex image, go back to the curated influencer aesthetic, maybe relaunch with a podcast, maybe a wellness brand, maybe something like the TIG 2.0, her old lifestyle blog before the palace days. But here's the thing, the audience, they remember. They remember archetypes, they remember all the hype and how it fizzled, and you can't just relaunch a glossy brand like nothing ever happened. Not when your last ventures flopped in public. Trust has a memory, and in media, every flop leaves a scar. As for Harry, oh man, it's even tougher for him. Let's just say it, without the royal angle, he's, well, kinda lost. He hasn't carved out his own space. There's no defined voice, no distinct message. He's become a side character in his own story. Sure, his name still grabs headlines, but that's fading. People want more than a last name. They want purpose. And Harry hasn't shown what his is outside of the royal escape narrative. Without it, his presence in media feels flat, forgettable. And let's be honest here, when both members of a brand are struggling to connect, the whole thing just crumbles. The Sussex media dream, it needs a rebuild. From scratch, ground up, and it needs to be real. No more overfiltered PR fluff, no more carefully packaged pain. People don't want perfection, they want truth. The wildest part, Meghan and Harry had the world eating out of their hands. When they left the palace, it was the ultimate underdog moment. The crowd was rooting for them. They could have redefined everything. Instead, they got caught up in selling a version of themselves that just didn't hold up. They built everything on momentum, not on substance. That works for a little while, sure, but eventually the crowd wants more than a title and a sob story. And now, Netflix is out, Spotify is gone, Paramount is hesitant at best. No one's jumping at the chance to back them again. And in this industry, that silence is suffocating. Once the biggest doors start slamming, others don't even bother to knock. It's no longer about, can Meghan and Harry make a comeback? It's more like, do they even know how? Because this isn't a rough patch anymore. This is a full-on unraveling of a brand, of a narrative, of a crown they tried to craft in California. And it's slipping, fast. Let's not sugarcoat it. This is the final roll of the dice. Meghan and Harry are standing at the edge of what used to be a media empire and looking down at the ruins, and all eyes are on Paramount Plus, the last major door that's still even slightly ajar. But let's not pretend that door isn't hanging by a single rusty hinge. The execs over there, they're cautious, wary, quietly skeptical, because they know the track record. They've seen the headlines. They watched Spotify flame out. They watched Netflix hit the mute button. They're not about to walk into that same storm without asking, is it really worth it? And the truth? It's not looking great. His relevance, the thing that once drew people in, is shrinking. He needs something real, something beyond the palace. But so far, there's nothing. Look, there's still value in the Sussex brand, but only if they strip it down and start again. That means vulnerability. That means telling the truth, not the polished PR-ready version, the raw stuff, the stuff people can connect to, because right now, what people see is two former royals clinging to a media dream that's falling apart. And here's what stings the most. They had it, the audience, the sympathy, the blank page. They could have written a story of growth, independence, maybe even redemption. Instead, they went for the flash, the brand deals, the hype, the high-profile, low-substance route. But Hollywood? It doesn't reward smoke and mirrors forever. So here we are. Paramount's interest? Unclear. Netflix? Gone. Spotify? Close the book. Meghan and Harry? Out of moves. If the next pitch fails, or worse, never even gets a green light, this could be it. The final nail in the coffin of their Hollywood dreams. Not just a flop. Not just a setback. A collapse. Because this isn't just about a podcast or a show, it's about whether the world still believes in what Meghan and Harry have to say. And if no one's listening anymore, what's left?